Hey YouTube land, this is Tyconders coming at you with another action figure review, and this is for a figure. I don't know much about the property behind it, but I saw the figure and actually kind of liked the design, and I remember there was a cartoon for it back in the maybe late 80s, early 90s, and it is the Space Adventures of Bucky O'Hare. For people who don't know Bucky O'Hare, he's actually a character that was created by the comic book artist Larry Hama, who basically is the guy who was behind most of the bio cards for the G.I. Joe characters from Hasbro, and he did his own. He was working with Marvel, and I think he did his own character, which is Bucky O'Hare. So this is the main character. He's Captain Bucky O'Hare, and he has like a couple of side characters, crewmates and stuff like that, and it's, as it says, Space Adventures. Now this figure is done by Boss Fight Studios, who you may know is the crowd who are behind the Vurtivuan Hacks figures, or so like they're the guys that do the kind of fantasy based and the mythological based figures, the 1 to 18 scale or 3 3/4 inch scale figures. And I've reviewed the Medusa figure that they've done because it's the only figure I have from them, but they do a whole host of figures like Greek, Prussian soldiers, and all different sort of kind of half snake creatures and stuff like that. So they're all really cool. Unfortunately, I just haven't had a chance to pick any of them up that much. I've picked up 1 or 2 along the way and done reviews for them. So this is the review for Bucky himself. A few people have asked me to do a review for him since when they saw that I picked him up. So I'll start with his packaging. He comes in this blister card style packaging. What's cool about the Boss Fight Studio stuff is that it's designed for collectors in mind, so you can just open up the kind of tab at the top here. It just flips open and the whole card will slide out without you having to tear the card. So basically there's a brief bio for Bucky. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. It just says Bucky made his mark in the United Animals of the Aniverse Space Service, battling giant cyborg spiders during the Great Clone Uprising of Rigel II. He was awarded a bronze furball with zinc palms for his role in subduing the mutant weasel on the vegan slug lords. Bucky is a knight commander of the most secret and glorious galactic order of the Silver Carrot, which grants him a lifetime supply of vintage purple coloured Vigilian tree carrots, a true anniversary delicacy. And then it's Bucky can be found standing on the bridge of the righteous indignation, looking for danger head on. The stench of hot ions in the air and the sight of toad laser pulses reflecting off his goggles. He's not just some rabbit who looks good under fire. His crew doesn't follow him because of his bubbling personality or because he shoots a mean laser blaster. They follow him for his ability to take charge of a desperate situation and turn it around for this favor, or around in this favor. Now that's a real leader. And then it shows the other figures. So the first 2 figures in the line, if I just move my camera up there, or some of my light, you see is Bucky himself and First Mate Jenny. Then their second wave is the Stealth Mission Bucky, which is a repaint of the Bucky figure in kind of a bluish and green, I think it was. And then you have the Astral Projection Jenny, which is like a translucent version of her, and the Chief Gunner's Deadeye Duck, which is this character down here, which is a pretty cool character. He's like a duck, but he has 4 arms, which is kind of cool. And then you have the Toad Trooper, which is I think Wave 3. He hasn't been released yet, which is the one I'm kind of looking forward to because I remember the Toad Troopers mostly from the action figures, and there was like a cyborg Toad figure which is really cool as well. So that is the thing, and just have Boss Fight Studio continuity, and then bossfightshop.com if you want to purchase them or pre-order the ones that are due out. So he comes with a few accessories. You just see if we can get that to stand up there. So when you get him, he has 2 closed fists actually on him. I've already swapped out the hands for his blaster wielding hands. So you can see he has 2 blasters in his hands. So you get two extra pairs of hands, so you get the closed fists. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. You get the closed fists. You get this kind of open palm for his right hand, and a pointing trigger finger kind of stance for his left. And then you get two additional face plates. So the way the head works is you have these plates that plug in onto his face. Now the one that comes with him as default is this closed mouth one. So I've actually already swapped out the one of the ones that were already in the packaging. Also, his cloak is a separate piece. When you get in the packaging, you have to plug it onto him. So the way it works, and I'm not sure if we'll be able to do this on camera, it's a bit tricky. So you just remove the face like so, and take the one that you want, and you snap it into place. And you can see he has the face on him. He has a lot of articulation points. As you can see, his ears are on ball joints, so you can actually rotate them around. In the comics, they're kind of pointed backwards, so I kind of tend to keep them that way. But you can, if you want to, kind of point them forwards, or have one backwards, or rotate them whichever way you want. Head is on a dual ball joint, so you have one in the base of the neck, one in the base of the head. So you can get some cool side-to-side poses, forward, back, 360. You can get his head all the way back. You can lunge it forward a bit. You can tilt it in quite cool directions. His shoulder pauldron things are actually part of his sculpt. They're kind of glued into place. As I said, he comes with the two pistols. What's cool about the pistols is they have these big holes on them that you can actually plug onto his belt. If I can get the right side. So they will just plug in for storage on his belt, and his belt has several points that you can plug them into. Some of them might be a little bit trickier to press in than the others, so it's just a matter of finding the right kind of plug hole. And then his arms are on ball joints, so you can go 360, but because of this, it slightly hinders it. They are kind of movable, but I wouldn't force them too much, just on the off chance that they break. The arms go out side to side and are on a ball hinge. Elbows can do 90-degree and they have a swivel. The wrists, because they're interchangeable, have a swivel as well. And you just plug off or unplug the wrist that you want to take off, and I'll give them the closed fist. As you can see, it's just a peg system, and you have to press it in. It can be a little tricky, and it'd be handy if I was putting the right hand on as well. It can be a little tricky and daunting to push in the wrist, but once you have it in, it's quite a snug fit. And then his legs are on ball joints, so they can go out to the side, forward that much, backwards. They got a good range of movement. His single hinged knee, which I find quite tight to actually move. So they are quite tight, and they do have a swivel as well. He has ball jointed legs, which are really good ball sockets on them, so you can move his ankle forward and back, and has great range of motion. He also has a front toe hinge because of the size of his feet, and he has a little tail, a little bunny tail that can be rotated around. When I got mine, it was pointing up. I'm not sure if that's the way it's supposed to be, but I just rotated it down because I think that looks a bit more natural. And as I said, his blasters will fit into his hands quite nicely. I like the sculpting on the blasters. They're really nicely done, and the paint applications are really good. I haven't had any issues with paint bleeding or rubbing on any of the figures, so he's really cool. And I just want to give a shout out to the chap who sold me this guy, which is a guy by the name of Paddy Lennon. Now, if you're not familiar with that name, I suggest having a look at the back of your Vurtivuan Hacks figures, because he's the guy that writes the bios for them. So I met him at a comic expo. He was selling a few of the Boss Fight Studio figures, including the Bucky O'Hare stuff, and I asked him for Bucky himself, because I've seen people have buddy of mine, Monty Williams, doing amazing photos of Bucky, even though he himself as well said he's not familiar with the line, he just loved the look of the figure and the articulation. Oh, should point out as well, he does have a waist swivel, before I get completely sidetracked. But he just looks really cool, and as I said, I can't wait to get the Toad soldiers. They look really cool. So just for comparison, since he's the only kind of, they are supposed to be 3 3/4 inch scale. They are supposed to be in scale with 4-inch figures. Because of the proportions, I'm assuming because of the way the characters are designed in the comics, he does look really short and stout and is in proportion to the Mars Trooper here. But overall, he looks really, really cool. And I do hope to pick up a few more in the line. I really hope to get to do the Toad, Cyborg Toad Trooper as well, which looked really cool. I think the Cyborg guy was actually a specific character. I just remember having him as a kid, and he looked really, really cool. So there you go, guys. Just a quick video review of the Bucky O'Hare Boss Fight Studios Bucky O'Hare figure. And as I say, check out, I'll put a link to their website, the store website for them, online or on the description, and I do recommend checking them out. They also have a lot of the Vurtivuan Hacks stuff for sale, like the new wave, I think it's wave 3 they're onto now, or wave 4, and they have lots of stuff like the blank bodies stuff that you can use for customizing, which is really cool. But they're more 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joe's kind of proportions than the Bucky O'Hare stuff. So there you go, guys, quick video review for Bucky. Hope you enjoyed it. As I say in my videos, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. I do try to reply to everyone that leaves a comment, and I will try to post more videos as I go along. Cheers, guys.